I think I've learned what it must be like to be around me on a regular basis. Because what started off as a delightful mention of Lord Byron quickly became quite annoying. And I now fear that that is the vibe that I give off. I will explain this in more detail in a moment. An Old-Fashioned Christmas was released in 2010. It's written by Donald Martin, directed by Don McBrearty, and it stars Catherine Steadman as Tilly. We also have Jacqueline Bisset, Leon Ockenden, Marion O'Dwyer, Robert O'Mahony, Ian McElhinney, David Herlihy, Kristopher Turner, and that is it. It's quite a small cast, but actually it never really felt like that. So even though we don't have too many characters, that's absolutely not a problem. It sounded interesting. I love old-fashioned Christmases, so I thought this was one to check out. I didn't realise until I'd already started watching it that it actually follows on from an old-fashioned Thanksgiving. And I haven't seen that, so I will be answering the question, do you need to have seen that to be able to engage with this film? And the short answer there is maybe, because the narrative is easy to follow. I never felt like I was lacking in information, but I never really felt like I was developing a connection with any of the characters. However, if I'd followed their journey in an old-fashioned Thanksgiving, that might be different. So I do think the experience might be enhanced if you've seen that film. I might well watch that film at some point, so that is just worth bearing in mind that while I'm about to say I didn't love it because of X, Y, and Z reasons, I do think my experience might have been better had I seen the previous film. And of course, I'd love to know what you think of it if you have seen the previous film. This focuses on Tilly, who goes with her family to Ireland, and she's going there to try and become a published writer. And I thought, okay, that sounds quite interesting, and I, as a writer, might connect with the character. And in the first minute, and I'm not kidding, it is 1 minute and I think 3 or 4 seconds in, she mentions Byron, and I thought, okay, fantastic. I love Byron. I have a tattoo with Byron's name. My cat is named after his daughter. Needless to say, I'm a tremendous fan of Byron, and it made me very happy. And then she mentioned Byron again, and I thought, okay, this is interesting. And then she mentioned him again, and again, and again, and again. And then I thought, this is what it must be like to be around me. Because I do mention Byron frequently. And it got exceptionally annoying. So I feel like that was maybe done far too much. Yes, obviously, whenever I hear Byron's name, I get quite happy. But if you're not a fan of Byron, if you don't care for Byron, or maybe you've never even heard of Byron, that constant mentioning of Byron is going to get irritating very, very quickly. It was annoying me, and I worship the ground Byron walked on. So I feel like that was very badly written. They didn't need to mention Byron that many times, and I am coming from somebody who can talk about Byron morning, noon, and night. So if I'm finding it annoying, I can only imagine what it must be like for other people. So that I just got really irritated by, and I'm surprised I felt that way. However, the narrative itself, it's okay. I didn't really care for it. I didn't find it that interesting. I didn't think it flowed that well. It just seemed to kind of be forced forward because not a lot happened in a long space of time. And the characters themselves are kind of boring. But again, as I said, if I'd seen an old-fashioned Thanksgiving, maybe I would have had a stronger connection to the characters. Maybe I would have cared more about them. And then we could have maybe had a film that was character-driven. I could have enjoyed an emotional response to their journey. But that wasn't happening for me with this film. And then, as I said, it feels like not a lot happens for a very long period of time. So the actual events within the film are kind of mundane as well. However, I do love the setting. I do love the costumes. I love the old-fashioned Christmas vibe. I love the music. We have several classic Christmas carols in this, including my personal favourite, Oh Holy Night, which made me very, very, very happy. So there were things in this that I did enjoy. However, it's far from perfect. What I would recommend, and I guess I wish somebody had recommended this to me beforehand, is that you watch an old-fashioned Thanksgiving first. I don't know if that definitely will enhance the experience, but I would imagine it can't hinder it. So that would be my recommendation, because I don't think this is a brilliant film. I don't think the characters are that interesting. I don't think it's very well written. But the old-fashioned aspect of it is beautiful, and the music is gorgeous. So it is watchable, but it is far from being enjoyable. But as I said, and I'll say it again, had I seen an old-fashioned Thanksgiving, I am willing to admit that the experience might have been better. So my advice would be, if you want to watch this, which I recommend if you might like old-fashioned Christmases or films with an old-fashioned Christmas vibe, because that part of it is done very, very well, then maybe give the Thanksgiving one a go first, because I'm predicting it will be a better experience. But I could be wrong. I will probably watch that one at some point. The lack of decent narrative or characters here hasn't put me off of that. But if you're looking for a gripping, compelling Christmas film with fascinating characters and well-written dialogue that doesn't milk Byron for all he's worth, and I say that for somebody who does on a daily basis milk Byron for all he's worth, then this is probably not the best one to go with. So I'm on the fence. Is it a good film? No. Did I enjoy bits of it? Yes. As a Byron fan, did I enjoy it? Honestly, I got annoyed. I just got really irritated, not because Byron was being mentioned a lot, but because that seemed so badly written. Like, we get it. You're a Byron fan. This is probably what people think towards me on a regular basis. So maybe I should actually kind of check myself a little bit. I don't think it would do a good job at making people curious about Byron, though, if they've never heard of him. I feel like because it is so irritating, it would turn people away from wanting to look into Byron's work, because all they'll remember is how poorly written this film was. Maybe not, I don't know. But either way, An Old-Fashioned Christmas is not a good film, but there are some good elements in it. Maybe it would be a better experience if I'd seen An Old-Fashioned Thanksgiving. You don't need to have seen that to follow the events in this film, but maybe there would be a stronger emotional response if the previous film has been seen. I might watch the previous film eventually, but for now, I'm happy to say I can check off An Old-Fashioned Christmas from my to-watch list. It wasn't the worst experience in the world, but that being said, I didn't particularly enjoy a lot of it, apart from the old-fashioned vibes and the music, which was absolutely stunning. Do I recommend it? This is one where I have to say, make up your own mind. I don't want to say you must watch this. I don't want to say stay away from it. All I can say is take the information I've given with a pinch of salt, and if it sounds like it might work for you, then check it out. But it's not going to be for everybody. It's not a perfect film. There are some positives. The music is gorgeous. Also, I don't think I mentioned this, the performances are fine. The characters might be dull, but the performances, absolutely no problems with them. So it checks some boxes. It definitely doesn't with some others. But in general, not the worst film ever. There is significant room for improvement. Maybe the experience would be better if I'd seen An Old-Fashioned Thanksgiving. Give it a go if it appeals to you, but if you're not that bothered, then I'd say you're probably not missing out on very much.